Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to the Halloween edition of the Wet Coast Wolves podcast. I am your host, Nub the Ewok. No, in reality, I'm Bernat, otherwise known as Eco Geek on all the things.
And I'm Glenda, Glenda on Ravelry, Glenda McDonald on Instagram, and we are at Wet Coast Wolves, and you can find the store at Wet Coast Wolves on all the things.
Yep. So this is our spooky Halloween edition. Glenda fails at wearing a costume.
I totally had it, like, my bits and pieces picked out, and I left them in my bedroom. But I have all the knitting things.
I think I was telling Glenda that I saw this great Instagram post of a not a lazy Halloween costume, but a quick one. And I think with her dark sweater, it kind of fits. So that's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah,
I think.
that's totally what I'm going with.
So the costume is you just wear something dark and stand in front of things, and you're an eclipse. So
I'm an eclipse of the yarn shelf.
Which I think it's one of those like quick costumes, but I thought that was really funny.
Pretty hilarious.
I died laughing for a little bit. I was thinking also as a joke I should speak only in Nub for the entire episode.
Can you do that? Do you know enough of the language?
It's just literally like Nub most of the time.
Okay.
Actually, well, Nub is their celebration thing. But I also realized that Ewoks don't wear striped shirts, but I didn't want to wear the whole thing today. Because wearing
like my sweater with your hood,
enough.
and then you look like an Ewok.
There we go, yeah. I do have like a suede dress I wear, and like
right.
boots. I do have a whole thing. I have many costumes. I only brought one today.
Technically, it's only the 20th of October, too. So
yes.
We're just kind of jumping the gun a bit, because our next episode will be after Halloween, and then you can't dress up after.
Yeah, and it's also mainly because I had a lot of editing things that were Halloween-y themed. So I guess I'll just quickly say, since this is the knit I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Burton Bear Cowl, I believe, by it's not Tiny Owl. It's Acorn Designs.
Oh, the Velvet Acorn.
That's it. Yeah, it is supposed to be for children, but I saw there's an adult version, clearly. I did see that some person had knit an Ewok hood, and then I knit like 4 of them for me and my cousin and my best friend and my boyfriend, so we could go to a Star Wars burlesque show as Ewoks.
That's hilarious.
And heckle as Ewoks, which was great. Not heckle, but like cheer as Ewoks. So yeah, that's the knit I'm wearing. It's knit out of Woolies Thick and Quick.
We have in the store a product called Nako Spaghetti, which is pretty much the same thing. You could totally use that if you're interested in making one for yourself.
Yeah, which you totally should. They have an all crocheted version as well, which I think in retrospect I would have done. Because the ears crocheted. What's funny is these crocheted ears is what gave me the confidence to start crocheting again.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of like kicked off all of the things because I hadn't crocheted since I made the giant Mario rug.
Oh yeah.
Because that sucked my soul out. What knit are you wearing, Glenda?
I am wearing. It's called. Let me move my hair. It's called The Final Frontier, and it's by Annamária Ötvös. And you can't really see because it's so dark, but it does have this garter kind of panel and a twisted stitch down the side, and that actually goes right across the shoulder. So it's a top-down sweater, and you knit it. You knit across the back, and then you work down. And it's. Sorry, I'm going to stick my arm in your way.
Go for it.
It's got this really interesting. Oh, see the. Wait a second. You can't see it so well, but the increase is on the raglan because it's an oversized sweater. There's a line of increase down the sleeve, and there's a line of increase that goes down this way, and it gives a really neat, almost like a dolman sort of sleeve, but not quite. But it's super cozy. It's like 8 inches of ease. It's supposed to have 10, but I made it a little smaller, and it's like a super cozy little sweater. So this is Cascade 220.
Perfect. Okay. Do you want to talk about one of your faux, or go through your? Do you want to start with your faux?
Okay, I have a bunch of faux.
I forgot something, so I'm gonna earthquake.
Okay.
You talk. Everyone disappear.
Gosh, I have a whole bunch of things I'm picking up because I have been crazy knitting like a mad person. I don't know why. And okay, so I have been doing. Speaking of Cascade 220. I have a lot of it in my stash in bits and pieces, so I have been doing some knitting for the West Coast Knitters Guild's Christmas charity sale. So I started by doing some mittens. You can see these. These are the Mitered mitts by Elizabeth Zimmermann. They're super fun.
I'm just going to interrupt Glenda for 2 seconds and say I'm not going to put all of the things down here because she's knit like 30 things.
Oh, yeah.
But they're going to be linked in the show notes if you want to know the patterns.
And they're all on my Ravelry page as well, so just go to there. So you can see really fun mittens. It's super simple. You use them on double points, and you do like 2 sets of increases, 2 sets of decreases, and they're really simple to make. So then that was the first thing I made. Then I had more purple, so I made this little hat. Oops, that's the join. We won't show that part. It's super fun. There's a bunch of these on Ravelry. It's like I forget what they call them, but basically where it merges from one color into the other.
It's a gradient or an ombre? Or...
Ombre, I think is what they call them. Yeah, it's just a fun way to... And
a balayage, if you will. There's like 700 words for the exact same
really?
thing.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different patterns. So I just kind of made one up. I just started with the stitch counts of a different hat and then just, ran with it. And then I still have more of the light purple left, so then I found some of this, whatever color. This was actually Cashmerino Aran, and then I had a little bit of navy, so then I made this hat. And then I decided to go into another color, so I made some Maize mitts, little fingerless mittens. This is a tin can knits pattern. So can you see the green? Kind of a dark green, leftovers from a sweater, which you'll probably see eventually. And then I was and then I made these mittens.
This is why I'm not putting them. There's just like 500 things.
And then with this, I got into the color work thing, and I was trying to do, I didn't strand these. These are...
I'm like, please don't put, those are not going to fit on your hand.
No, they're not, but I'm showing you. So I did the Cowichan style method of weaving the yarns, but then I wasn't happy with how kind of uneven the color looked. So I thought, I'll try stranding. So I made this hat. And you can see this is all stranded, but I figured out a way, because I'm lousy at doing one color in each hand, so I figured out a way. Ooh, pretty stranding. I love how it looks on the
beautiful.
Inside. And yeah, I figured out how to do it with just having the two colors in one hand. And then after I did this one, this one, by the way, I'm keeping because I love it so much, and like, it actually fits my gigantic head. So it's like my new après ski hat for when we go skiing. So then I made this one, and of course I needed a pom-pom because it's super cute.
It was adorable. I think I needed a bigger pom-pom though.
Well, I used my green. You missed our Instagram question, or my Instagram question on the discussion group we have.
I saw it, but by the time I got to it, you'd already done a pom-pom. I'm not like on my phone at all times. I occasionally do other things with my day. I did a lot of stuff yesterday, so I missed your question.
But yeah, so then I did this one, and now I have more. I have more stuff on the go, but that's all of my FOs for this week,
which is crazy.
Because it was really fun.
Yeah,
but you can do them fast. I mean, the mittens they take you it's like a day a piece or something like that.
Yeah,
but so yeah. So everything but this hat, if you're interested, you can go to the charity sales at Dunbar and North End, and you can potentially buy them.
There you go, a little piece of Glenda knitting. You just put a little tag on it, hand knit by Glenda, and you can charge more for it.
There you go, as seen on the podcast.
Yes, yeah, right. Normal people would be like, "What? That's not fun." Okay, so that's all your foes?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. I finished some of my gift knitting. So some of it I have, some of it I don't. The first foe I don't have is I finished the Offhand lace shawl I was making last week.
Oh, I went to see that. Did you give it gifted already?
Yes. Yeah, I gave it to my cousin because her birthday was on Sunday, and she loved it because she keeps stealing my shawls, and now she has her own. So I will try and insert a picture on my face because that's actually easier because they're putting it between us. They're too big. So on my face, on my face is the shawl. It was beautiful. I have to knit another one, so you'll get to see it in a different color because I still have more of that yarn, and that's on my Christmas list. So you'll see that again. She loved it a lot. I also finished in gift knitting these.
Gosh, those are huge. Those feet go on forever.
Yeah, Brian has large feet. So he has worn these once, but I have washed them, so they are clean. But I finished them, and he immediately put them on his feet. I finished them the day of his birthday. This leg looks shorter than the other, but I promise they're the same length. So these are Brian's Fleegle heel Patons Kroy socks. You can see the triangle-y kind of Fleegle heel. It fits his foot really well, so I think I'm going to do this when I can on his socks. So it's 64 stitches, toe up, Fleegle heel, Patons Kroy, and a random number colorway, which I think I wrote down. I did. Denim Jaquard 55601. It's very exciting. So that's those. Hopefully I'll have more socks for Brian eventually. Because right now it's all Christmas knitting all the time. Because I'm beginning to have a panic attack about Christmas. On the Christmas knitting. Jaunt, I guess? I don't know. Christmas knitting binge. I finished the kid sweater, which has green hairs coming out of it. Not that you'll be able to tell. But this is for one of the kids that I nanny. It's some acrylic my friend gifted me because he means well and knows that I knit. So he's like, you like yarn. He tried. Look, it looks like I'm tiny. So this is the Wonder Years pattern by Elizabeth Smith. The sizing's very strange. I don't know if it's just the designer's kids or maybe the kids I'm knitting for, but like this is the 2T chest size.
I do wonder.
I did knit it longer, but like that's a very large 2-year-old.
I wonder if she intended it to be like a layer of like over many other layers, and therefore there's a lot of ease in it. But because I remember
Maybe,
when I knit that, I found the same thing. It was the sleeves are always
that's
huge.
huge. I also find it funny the pooling did this at the end. Like, so it's just like I think it's just some. So my friend got this yarn at like a thrift store, yarn store thing he found somewhere in one of his trips to America. So I don't know what it is, but I assume it's some sort of Red Heart Super Saver in some crazy colors. I still have to wash it, so it does that thing where Red Heart becomes less awful when you machine wash and dry it. But yeah, so that's cute. That. It is cute. It's very bright. And he did ask me for a green sweater, so that's super, super green. It's the greenest thing ever. Oh, and I just put some coconut buttons on it, if anyone's curious. They're just plain coconut buttons. I got in a big bag at Button for like $3 or something. I love coconut buttons. They're amazing. And then, okay, so at Thanksgiving, I was handed a amigurumi kit that Brian's younger brother got for Christmas a couple of years ago. And
that's so cute.
I'll show you my rendition first, and then I'll show you what it was supposed to look like. This kit, I don't know if it's just my crochet gauge, but like none of the amounts were right. This yarn is also really hard to crochet with. But I crocheted the sheep while listening to people watch the American election, which I'm not going to talk about, but I didn't want to participate. Yeah, whatever. The thing I'm trying to ignore. So, it's a sheep. It's a very fluffy sheep, and he has no feet. But he has a little bell. He kind of looks mildly like a hamster.
He does look like a hamster.
He's perfect hamster size, actually. But, so his name is Floofy, and he was supposed to look like this. Nailed it. Like, not at all. But the yarn was like this crazy eyelash yarn.
It's mostly the spacing on the eyes that I think changed the look of him.
No, the face didn't. I followed their instructions, and the face didn't do the thing, and I didn't have enough of the yarn to do the ears and the legs and the face, and horrible things happened. But I was crocheting with this and couldn't see my stitches at all.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to use.
So his body turned out ginormous.
I would almost guess it'd be easier to knit with that stuff because
because then your stitches are
more controlled. But
yeah, so nailed this kit.
He's super cute, and that's the whole point.
Yeah, he is super cute. I'm saying he's a Sum sheep. He looks like the Sums by Disney, the like stackable, weird, flat, stuffy thing. So he's a Sum sheep. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, he's floofy. And the kit's from Momomints.com. I have no idea what it is. Know nothing about it. It was a gift for someone else. But I made my version of floofy.
Stop.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so now the phone stopped ringing.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of our foes anyway. So, yeah. On to whips. All right. So do you want to go first? Should I go first?
I'll do something, and then so I'm going to start with the least progressed one. So this is a sweater. We started a new class at the store.
Like you do.
I started a new class.
That's beautiful.
And the sweater's called Cozy Me. It's the adult version. That's what it looks like. There is a child version called Cozy You, which is equally cute, which I think I'm also going to make because I have leftover yarn from when I pulled out that skirt.
Yep.
And I have just enough to make that to make a kid version for my friend's little girl, whether they want it or not. Anyway, this is the color I'm doing it in. It's pale blue. Oh. The needle banged the microphone.
Sorry.
I have all my sushi with stitch markers on it, you can see. So yeah, it's basically it's a cardigan bottom up. You do the front and the back all in one piece, which is why this is so long. And I have just started the little lace paneling on the front, which is a basic diamond paneling. Pretty straightforward. I think it's gonna be really fun. And yeah, I have until next Thursday to get up to the underarms done, but I'm going away this weekend and we're flying to a wedding, so I have flight time and I'm taking this as my project. They better let these things on the airplane.
They'll be fine. There's knitting on them.
Yeah, I think it'll be
You're
good.
all good.
But I figured it's a good way to force myself to knit on it because you know, there's not the distractions of all those other fun little things I'm making for the charity sale.
There you go. And going off of Glenda's sweater, we have another Know Your Wool section.
Oh yeah,
Because Glenda's sweater is made out of Cascade 220, which is Peruvian Highland wool, which is in a lot of different, it's a base for a lot of different wools, and we wanted to talk about that type of wool.
So, I was doing some research on this last night. Just a note, don't let the ex-PhD person do research, because you get like 3 pages of stuff, which...
So I'm looking at the timer. I told Glenda she has 5 minutes to talk, and if she goes over it, I'm going to cut her off.
So, I was under the impression previously that Peruvian Highland wool was not really a specific breed, and then I started doing my initial research, said that, oh, it's a cross between Merino and Corriedale, but then I got more into it, and what I think is it really is not a specific breed. It's a bunch of different breeds that have been put together. There was, in the 16th century, the Spanish did bring sheep over to South America, and they brought Merino because that's a Spanish breed initially, and they also brought another one called the Churro, which you can actually look up in like our Fleece and Fiber source book. You can look up the Navajo Churro because it was also brought to like southwestern U.S.
Yeah, it's like New Mexico.
Yeah,
the churro sheep.
And then because the Navajo peoples used them for their all their blankets. I can't speak today.
We'll talk about churro sheep another time.
Yeah, that's
Not
another.
That
that's a whole
access
other
to
side.
churro, but they're really cute sheep.
But so basically the sheep that were in Peru were basically just descendants from these sheep that were brought over in the 16th century, and no one really. They kind of raised them on small scale for food and sometimes for the wool, but it wasn't like they didn't have any organized breeding program to try and improve the quality of the sheep and the yarn. And from one of my sources that I was reading last night, which was the National Livestock Journal of 1879, it was super fun. It's on Google Books if you want to read it. It was really interesting. And it was talking about the Argentinian sheep history. But, and so what I realized was that in some parts, like in Argentina and Uruguay, they got into sheep husbandry earlier on, which of course now is why you get amazing sheep from Uruguay, or amazing wool from Uruguay. The merino, like Malabrigo and all that comes from there. And the Manos was from there as well.
Do you want to talk about the qualities of the wool?
So yeah, so now more recently, what I think that they have come up with, there's 60% of the sheep in Peru seem to be of a lower quality wool that is used for carpet, most likely for meat, and then for carpet wool. But the sheep that are used for like hand knitting wool, it's a mixture basically of, among other things, Merino and Corriedale, and where are we? Panama, or which is also known as Colombia, and Polworth. And they have a breed of sheep called I think it's the Junin. It's Junin. That's my very bad Spanish pronunciation. And that was it's a recognized breed as of 1955. And so what they've done with this one is created a yarn that has the softness and the fine fiber of the merino.
And the Polworth.
And the Polworth, I guess, yeah.
Polworth
actually.
is also a short staple fiber.
And then it's combined with, from the Corriedale and probably the Columbia as well, that you get a longer staple and a more even crimp. So the longer staple makes it easier to spin. It makes it, you can spin a yarn with less twist in order to keep it like in a yarn and useful. And then also the crimp gives a better elasticity and bounce. So you get a nice springy wool, lots of memory. And that's kind of what we want in a knitting wool. So I think basically what's happened is now more recently they're getting into breeding the sheep because they've realized that there's a new market for it. Of course, no one's going to develop an animal or for a product that isn't valuable or isn't necessary. So now that they're getting into it, there actually seem to be quite a few studies going on trying to determine the exact genetic makeup of the native Peruvian sheep, and to try and improve it and to try and get into some breed specific, improving the breed and improving the quality.
So maybe eventually Peruvian Highland will be like a designated breed instead of like a collection of a bunch of different fibers?
That would be I think that would be the goal, but I mean, I don't actually know that offhand, but the other thing too though is that I think that it will depend, maybe like the Canadian wool like we get from custom wool mills, it depends on what farm you get the wool from. Because Cascade 220 is Peruvian Highland, but then our Highlander is also Peruvian Highland wool, and it has a very different feel. It's much more, it's a little bit more prickly, and mind you, it's also possibly to do with the processing, because of course the more you process wool, the more soft it can feel.
Yeah.
But it takes out some of the natural properties.
So In conclusion,
Yeah.
the culmination of all the different types of sheep make it a soft wool, but really nice and hard wearing. Because when you have a combination of different fibers, it doesn't pill as easily. So if anyone's knit a Cascade 220 sweater and worn the bejesus out of it, you'll know that it wears really well.
Yeah, they pill a little bit because, I mean, wool is always going to pill.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you get an inexpensive, good quality yarn. And
With good, like, it has great stitch definition. This cable's amazingly.
Yeah,
I've
takes
even
color
done
really well.
I've done lace shawls out of it as well, and it's
Yeah.
really nice. Doesn't quite have the same drape as something with like a higher merino or like an alpaca content would. It's a really nice, cozy, scarfy thing. Because I don't wear my shawls as shawls. This is the motion for scarfy. Alrighty. Yay, that was about 5. Might have been more than 5. Anyhow, not too bad.
next time I will have a more prepared paper that I can read off and get in exactly 5 minutes.
Alrighty. So, back to whips.
Oh, am I blocking your whips?
Well, no, it's mainly your notes that you're
right.
covering. But okay, so I'll just talk about what I'm working on now. So last time I was asking about what I should do with the Canucks yarn, and I went to my mother-in-law at Thanksgiving with a couple of ideas that people sent me. Thank you for everyone who sent me suggestions. I really appreciate it. And then my mother-in-law, very excitingly, picked a tubular scarf, which is gonna kill me slowly.
Fascinating. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
Until it gets too long to pile in your lap.
Yeah, so right now I have it living in my Ninja bag that I made, which is my favorite fabric ever, and if anyone's going to spool a thread, they have more of it, so I'm resisting the urge to sew a Ninja dress, because I'm an adult. Clearly adulting today. So this is the Canucks colorway by River City Yarns. It's their hat trick. It's a merino nylon blend. It's very soft. It's dyed by Ancient Arts. And the pattern, well, okay, it's not really a pattern. Well, it is. So the pattern I took the cast-on numbers from, essentially, is the Pheno Circle Scarf by Jocelyn Tunney. Tooney. I don't know. Essentially, it's a free pattern, and essentially you cast on 110 stitches, and theirs you knit flat.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? You knit flat for about, like, 800 yards, and then you seam it together, and I'm like...
Oh,
no.
that one. I know that scarf.
Yeah, so my mother-in-law saw that one and was like, oh, that's a great idea, and I'm like, I'm not knitting 1,000 yards flat. That's insane. So I took 110 stitches and I joined it in the round, and I did a provisional cast on, which is this yellowy bit, and then I'm just gonna knit. It's kind of pooling. You can't see it because I'm like, my hand's in the way. So I'm just gonna knit it essentially until it's the right kind of length, and then I'll graft it. You can see it's kind of spiral pooling. What's funny is it's pooling in the opposite direction of my knitting. So it's going this way, and I'm knitting this way.
You're clearly knitting backwards.
The pooling's just confused. So it'll be a really cool scarf. Hopefully next time you'll be able to see more of it. You can kind of see it. It's a really fun yarn. It's really nice and soft. I'm knitting it on a US 6 because it's going to be folded over, and I didn't want like a super dense fabric. I knit her a Hitchhiker last year, and that was a very dense knit because Martina Bem has you knit on a 3mm needle. It's very dense, but this will be nice and drapey. I did cast this on previously, and I'd accidentally joined it in the round and joined it twisted. It was supposed to be joined in the round, but anyhow. So now I have it going, and I have one of our hockey stitch markers hanging off of it. Got hockey, and then at the beginning it's a robit, which is one of Glenda's.
A robit, did you say?
Yes, it's a robit. So, robit and hockey. I think robit's a Futurama thing. I'm like,
Excuse me.
50% sure on that one. I don't know. But anyhow, so.
All right.
What's your next whip?
I'm totally like ignoring the one that's in my hand. I'm going to do it last. In case you're wondering. So these are my sideways gloves. It looks like a Michael Jackson glove and or a Frankenstein mitt. Should have another one. I could have like those,
That could be your costume.
You could do them in green. You know the Hulk mitts, the gloves you can get the kids. You could totally turn these into a Hulk glove. That would be hilarious.
That would be great. You'd have to stuff it a little bit.
Yeah,
though.
I think so.
Those
You can make it
large
bigger,
hands.
I think. But so these gloves, it's not finished. That's why it's not long enough. You actually knit them. If you go on my Ravelry page, you can see a photograph of when I was knitting it. You start here and you knit down the fingers and you short roll your fingers, and then you and you keep kind of taking stitches off and recasting on, and it's this crazy process. And then you go around, and then you come like knit back up the other side, and then you Kitchener stitch the end. And so it's like a glove in one thing. Now the part I haven't done yet is to pick up around here and knit the cuff downward. But I'm leaving that because I don't have, it wasn't a full ball of yarn, and I think I'm just going to have enough to do the 2 hand parts in this color, and so I'm going to have to put another color on the bottom. So I'm waiting to see. But this was the easy part because the pattern, it's from Elizabeth Zimmermann's book, Knit One, Knit All, which was published after she passed away. But the pattern is all written out for the one glove, and the other glove, it basically says to reverse it because you knit the same way, but one side of the glove has 3 sets of short rows for every finger, and one side only has 2. And so for the other one, you switch it, because I think the one with more short rows is supposed to go on the inside of the hand. So you have to do the other one the opposite way, so that you have, like, the outside would have 3, like, anyway, it just switches back and forth. But that part of the pattern...
Like staring at the glove, it's very strange.
That part of the pattern is not written out, so I have, not surprisingly put it off until I can sit down and write it all out so I can follow it better. But I think they're really fun. And I actually wanted to make a pair for my mom. I don't know if I will or not, but because she has arthritis in her fingers, and so she finds a lot of gloves too tight in the finger.
Oh,
and
those would
so
be great then.
I figured that with the garter stretching, like, this way, then it'll make more room in the fingers for someone who needs wider fingers.
There you go.
But I totally recommend you check it out. It's crazy. Elizabeth Zimmermann has the weirdest constructions, but it's so much fun to do.
That woman's so cool. It's very smart.
I kind of wish I could have met her. She must have been amazing.
Be on that list of like 5 knitting or 5 people you'd have
dinner with. Oh,
dinner
absolutely.
with.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I want to knit with her. Forget dinner.
All right, well, obviously you're going to knit at dinner with Elizabeth Zimmermann.
I suppose.
Clearly. Okay, so I realize you have more things in it, but I'm going to just do this, and then I'm not monogamous, but I've cut down to a lot of whips to try and get a lot of Christmas stuff out. Been knitting my butt off for the Bakery Bears handmade Christmas thing, which do every year, really. So this guy is living in my Bags by Awesome Granny bag.
Such a pretty bag.
With the fireflies, which is my favorite. So I tend to use this bag when I'm knitting a lot of rainbow things, apparently. Because I am knitting, as soon as I finish that green sweater, I cast on another Wonder Years sweater.
Wow, you've gone really far on it since I saw you last.
Because I don't want to work on that scarf. So this is what I've been doing. So this is the Wonder Years pattern again, but this is for some of the 8-year-olds I watch. For reference, none of them have ever gotten a sweater, and they've been bugging me for sweaters for years, so this is the year I cave.
Careful, they'll start asking for one every year.
Nope. This is it. They get any bigger than this. This is for a very tiny 8-year-old, but it's a rainbow sweater.
Am I hand holding it?
It's out there. I'm just trying to get the right proportion here. So it's a bunch of different acrylics I had, and she's gonna get a black base with obviously the Roy G. Biv colors. The stripe you can't see is this purple one. The gauge is a little bit weird because the yellow, the green, and the purple are like the thicker worsted weight acrylics, and then these guys are just a little bit thinner. The purple gauge is a little bit weird. I have a feeling that when I machine wash it, it'll block out. I love blocking acrylic things. Put it in the washing machine. Great. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I have to do 9.5 inches under the arm. The stripes make it very potato chippy.
What are you edging it in?
Black, which will also be fun. So the sleeves are going to be all black because I'm not weaving in the ends for this many colors in a tiny sleeve. And then, so the girl that this is for is one of 2, because she has a twin sister. So her twin sister is going to get a dark gray version.
Whatever color you end up with last at the bottom of the sweater, you should do one strip of that at the cuff of the sleeves. So it's like all black and then one highlight color matching the bottom of the sweater.
Maybe, but the problem is that I have to do the exact same patterning on the other sweater. Because if their sweaters are different other than the base color, they're going to lose their minds.
Oh, okay.
Because this is what happens when you nanny for twins. Everything has to be the exact same. I love them, but just sometimes. But yeah, so this is my other Wonder Year sweater. I'm hoping this will be done probably fairly soon, and then I can get started on the other one, and then these are the biggest parts of my Christmas knitting finished. Well, kind of, except for the circle scarf of doom. Yeah, so that's that. The base is like loops and threads value pack that I bought when I was doing that rainbow blanket, and then these are all just honestly the same yarns from that for the most part, because the rainbow yarn won't dye. It's like all in here.
It breathes when you put it in a corner.
Here, I'll take the black out. Rainbow! So yeah, it's all of these, the balls that don't dye. So that's that. And that's my last whip, really. It's been super, super boring and monogamous. Pretty much on that sweater. I want to get this stuff done. My goal is to have all my Christmas knitting done, hopefully by the end of November at the latest, because then I can knit Christmas socks during Christmas time.
Do you only have the circle scarf and one more sweater? This sweater and another?
Oh, no. Okay, so I have this sweater, another sweater. I have a shawl. I have to make another shelob shrug. I have a pair of slippers I have to make. I have a hat and a cowl, and then I have to sew a tote bag, some Hawaiian shirts, possibly some onesies.
Okay, forget I asked. Never mind.
Yeah, so in theory, I was hoping to have them done by the end of October, but clearly not going to happen, so I'm giving myself to the end of November, hopefully.
Because you didn't start in August.
Yeah, normally I start way earlier, so, but I was trying to, like, I don't know, knit for myself for a little bit. But, like, I do enjoy making Christmas presents for these people, and they really appreciate it for the most part. Oh yeah, I also have to do a cross stitch if more pixel people.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, that's another faux I have, but I'll do that and craft all the things.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So I got a lot of stuff I have to do. So that's why I'm kind of monogamously working on them, because if I can churn them out, then I feel like I'm making more progress. It's actually less knitting than I've done in the past, because there's actually some sewing and other stuff this year. So no one judge me.
I, on the other hand, do almost no Christmas knitting.
Which
maybe
is
the odd
awesome.
pair of socks now and then, but
I want to get to that point. Like I always say, like next year, I will not do Christmas knitting.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have other FOs. I will show you if I can find my other one. It's hiding in this bag. I have too many bags at my feet, and it's not there. Okay, here it is. Pull it up off the bottom.
Put Benny Hill in.
So this one is the Lock Hat by Tinkin Knits. I'll put that behind me. So you can kind of see I'm starting I finished the first half repeat of the pattern, and then I have to do 1.5 more times through. I'm doing the largest size. It's the adult large. And I'm doing it in Imperial Yarns Tracy 2, which is left over from a sweater that I made when we had the yarn in store a couple years ago. It's really nice wool. It's Columbia wool. This would have been a segue to another kind of sheep. Really, really soft, and it's, I think, as from what I understand, so the yarn is from, they grow it on their ranch in Oregon.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on this? And
you want to say Oregon, that's
Oregon.
why.
Oregon? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, and it's spun in the States. I think it's spun in a mill in the eastern states, but it's really soft and really nice to work with. It has pretty decent stitch definition. I'm questioning whether or not I'm doing it according to the pattern. It is a Sportway yarn, and I'm using the 3.25mm needle, but I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't have gone up. It feels a little bit tight, but whatever. It'll work. And this, I believe, is going to be for the charity sale as well. Although Sino yesterday was trying to convince me that I should give it as a Christmas gift to somebody because it's a ton of work. But we'll see what happens. See how much I like it when it's finished.
There you go.
And then my last FO is very suited to the Halloween theme. It's my opal sock. That's funny, the pattern comes up. I see it better in the...
I was like, that knits up way cooler than I thought that would.
Yeah, and it also looks I feel like I can see the pattern better by looking at it in the camera than I can just, I don't know.
I think it's this bit.
Yeah, it doesn't, the reddish section you can't really see, but, so this is Opal Play sock. I forget what the color name is, but it's from the Play series.
Well, I will have looked it up and put it down there.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do.
Hey, runaway DPN.
This is why not DPNs forever.
It's totally DPNs forever. Have you seen people have picked it up? I was searching on Instagram yesterday and people are totally using it. Thank you for using my hashtag. I love it.
I'm glad.
I shouldn't say it's my hashtag because I did find some that were posted before I even started the podcast. But,
I don't know. It's a thing you do, and I'm glad other people are joining your old school team.
No, as someone, we had a comment on the post.
No, I know, that's why I'm
and
saying
it's not old school, it's the right way.
No, it's old school.
I totally agree with that.
Old school isn't bad. If anyone's listening to any old school hip hop, it's way better than the stuff that's coming out nowadays. Yeah.
And yeah, it's really funny. And then there's, of course, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but our friend Shannon from Socksetera has started the Sorry Glenda hashtag for when she uses double points.
No, for
Or
when
doesn't
she
use
doesn't
double points, but she
points.
uses magic loop. Or
Yep.
because she's a two socks at once knitter, which I can't do.
Good for you, Shannon.
I admire Shannon's ability. It makes me crazy.
In stereo.
Yes.
In stereo is the best way to do it, I think. Also, it makes my OCD happy that they're both the same.
That's funny. And then just if you're wondering, all those blue socks I showed last week, yeah, I haven't touched those at all. Because, you know, it's more fun to cast on something new, of course.
There you go. Should I talk about craft all the things, or should we take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break and then talk about craft all the things.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry for editing breaks. So for craft all the things, I love this graphic. I think I might put in one for Know Your Wool.
Yeah,
we
we totally need one for Know Your Wool.
Which people will have seen by now.
And
Also, I have a sheep sound effect. So I apologize if you weren't expecting transitions, because you would have seen them by now.
Yes.
Okay, so for my craft all the things this week, I finished Kelsey's wedding cross stitch.
I didn't get to see this.
Her wedding was on
Saturday.
It was like last week sometime.
Kind of blur.
Yeah.
The whole week.
It was a blur. So I will put a picture probably over my face again, maybe in here. And yeah, it turned out really well. I did some leaves on the top of it to give it a little bit of framing, but it wasn't, once I sat down and like focused on it, I got it done in a couple of days. So now that I am going to end up making probably at least 3 more for the 3 other weddings I have to go to in the next year, you'll probably see a lot of them, and I apologize because they're just going to look like different shades of generic white people. They're my favorite generic white people, but they're all just generic white people getting married in different seasons. So yeah. The next one I'm going to is the day before Remembrance Day, and I'm debating putting like poppies at the top of it. Just be like, this was a weird day to get married, just by the way. This is a strange choice of date.
So are they getting married on the 10th or the 11th?
The 10th.
Okay.
But just like, I know it's not getting married on Remembrance Day, but it's just, why that day? It's just
Probably because it's a long weekend right after?
maybe, but just, it feels weird to me. I'm just gonna in my hood the whole time. Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask them about it. I have no idea. But yeah, so that was the thing I did. I'll just talk about nothing for a while. So that was my craft all the things. Hopefully there'll be some more next week, because I'm hoping to get some Christmas sewing started.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? And now Glenda has acquisitions. I have nothing.
I do not have craft all the things this week, but I have super fun acquisitions as I finish my last stitch, so my DPN doesn't run away again. So I managed to catch a update for, or I should take it out of the plastic. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic. It
Sorry
is
for the crinkling.
Crinkle, 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 crinkle. You can't even really see it. From Legacy Fiber Arts.
Do you want me to lean closer than you?
For
Putting it closer. I can lean closer to
Oh,
the camera.
no, what I was going to do before I did that is actually open it. Oh no, I'm going to have to tear the little sticker. Oh, the sticker didn't break, the plastic did. I love it. There we go. Crinkle less. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. It's really nice. It's called Sweater Weather. I'm totally pronouncing that wrong.
Do you know what that's a reference to?
The song?
Oh, I thought it was a reference to the SNL skit.
Oh, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know.
Sue, reference is
Sue, yeah,
for...
you tell us.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're just talking about the fact it's sweater weather.
Yeah, it's because it's a fall color.
skit.
I think they were making it. She was making it partially for Rhinebeck too. So
Yeah.
And then I also got this one. I'm not going to take out, so you have to look through the plastic. But it's the cotton-headed mini muggins. They're so great. So, oh, there's the other side. They're so fun. They're 20-gram minis.
Are you gonna knit like pixel rise socks with them or something?
I haven't decided what I want to do yet. I'm kind of thinking, because as I'm stash busting with all the Cascade 220, I have, like, our store bags are 13 by 15 inches in size, and I have 2 of them stuffed full of sock leftovers. And I'm thinking, or at least fingering weight, it's not all sock yarn, but I think I might have to start a mini blanket, because I just have a lot of it, and it's just a matter of choosing what kind of mini blanket I want to do. I have an idea of one that I saw that's not I'm not 100% in love with the mitered square ones.
Yeah.
But I've seen some other options. And there's always the polygon blanket possibility from the new one from Tin Can Knits and their Mad Color book. And
Or
then
you could join me on the crazy weekender blanket.
well, I have
kick.
the acrylic weekender blanket. The
Yes, but
crocheted
this one would be way nicer.
Yeah, but I'd have to crochet it like way smaller because I don't want to do, like I wouldn't want to do it double stranded because then my minis might not all be big enough.
Yeah, no, you just grab a 3mm hook and go for it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I want to knit with a 3mm hook or crochet with that small a hook. But no, Elizabeth Zimmermann has one too where you start in the center and you make little squares, like center out little squares, and then you kitchen or stitch all your sides together so that you never have, or you could 3 needle bind them off too, but so you don't have to sew them together. So it's kind of the same principle as the mitered squares, and it's so join as you go, but they're just a different kind of square. So I might look at that too.
There you go.
But yeah, that'll be later.
Yeah.
So that's all the knitting, yeah?
Yeah.
My pile of stuff beside me.
So the only thing we have for store news, because we haven't gotten any new yarn this week.
No.
Not that I know of. We're just kind of...
There's about to be a whole bunch more custom wool mills coming in.
Yep. Which is good.
Yeah.
So Carla, we will let you know.
We'll let you know when it arrives, because we do have your yarn, Carla.
Yeah,
we will have it shortly.
It's like everyone who wanted yarn and couldn't get it at Knit City, we'll put out an Instagram post and tag you in it and be like, you can now buy your stuff.
I kind of feel like when we put it online, we should, like on Etsy, you can do like custom orders and it'll be like such and such for this person. We feel like we should do like purple yarn for Carla. And unless you're Carla, you can't buy it.
Oh, it's not a bad idea, but my brain also thinks our computer system would find a way to mess that up somehow.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so our only store news this week is we reached 1,000 subscribers! Yay! And I'll do a thing. This is me hand motioning the thing. So yay! Thank you all. Can't believe there's 1,000 of you, as previously stated.
So funny.
So we opened up a 1,000 subscriber giveaway thread in the group. We will keep that open, I think, until the next time we record.
The end of the month. End of October 31st.
Okay, so end of the month. So get in there. And what we're asking people as the prompt is, what's the weirdest thing you've knit? Because we knit a lot of weird things.
You've seen my windows?
Yeah. So working here, we knit a lot of very fun things. I knit a moon last year for a window.
That's right.
Which I gave to Brian as a Christmas present, which he, not being a Wonderful Life fan, didn't understand how funny that was. I'm a Wonderful Life fan. I really would have enjoyed it. I have also knit this lovely lady. This is the anglerfish that I knit for a window. It's the only anglerfish pattern on Ravelry, which I don't know how that's possible. But I did put reflective thread in her little doubly. It falls down a lot. So in theory, it's kind of reflective. I just didn't want to put like electrics in it or anything.
Shine it with a flashlight, it'll reflect back at you.
Yeah. And then, funny. So she also has her parasitic male. For anyone who knows anything about anglerfish reproduction, this is really funny. If you want to hear more about it, let me know. It's one of my favorite topics. It's so great. But yeah, so this is my anglerfish. But weirdly enough, this is not the strangest thing I've knit. One year, I knit my friend some kidneys.
Oh, that's
I don't know if I have a picture of, but I knit him some kidneys because I'm a mean person. He has he had some kidney problems, and the only thing he really needed for a gift was kidneys, and I wasn't giving him mine.
Did he actually need a new kidney?
Well, it's a long story, but kind of, but not really. It's a long story. It was. We both had a very dark sense of humor. He thought it was very funny. I put them in a jar. So I knit him 2 kidneys and put them in a jar.
Oh my goodness.
And gave it to him. It was a really funny present at the time. And yeah, so those are the weirdest things I've knit. I love her. She lives on the top shelf with the submarine, but you can't see her all the time. But the parasitic male thing, if you guys want to know more about it, let me know.
So I was trying to figure out what my weirdest thing was, and I've knit a lot of strange things too, because like we said, for the window, I've knit clouds with raindrops falling from them. I have knit grass.
You knit a zombie last year.
Last week I just knit a zombie. That's kind of up there with the weirdest thing. I have a Frankenstein. I have a cuckoo clock that I knit.
The cuckoo clock is just cool. I don't know if it's weird, but it's cool.
It's very fun. But the strangest thing in terms of how it looks, and I'll get you to put a picture up because I tried to print one and it didn't work very well. When my brother's first son was born, I knit, it's technically crocheted, but same difference. I made one of the, you know those stacking toys where it's like a base with a post and then these round rings that you put on top. So I found this pattern for a crocheted one, and it's like a green post that looks supposed to be a frog, and then there's the rings you put on are like a bee and a turtle and a spider. And so yeah, I crocheted that, and it's pretty funny. And as far as I know, they still have it. I hope they still have it.
That's excellent. I always want to make one of those things, but I'm like, what did you put in the middle? Like, did you put? Because I've heard of people putting like pool noodles on the inside, because then you can chew on it, but it's not like teddy bear stuffing.
I just stuffed them with teddy bear stuffing. I didn't put anything too. I mean, I'm not really sure how much he chewed on them anyway. They were made with cotton though, at least, so if they needed to be washed, they could.
Yeah, I guess if it was pool noodle, you couldn't really wash it. Could you just have to hope it dries.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you don't want to make it too too heavy. And the hardest part is making the post stand up straight. I forget what I must have put something like a dowel or something in the middle to keep it straight up and down. But yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't take a lot of wear and tear if you really tried to destroy it. You could do it, but it's more about the idea. Oh yeah, I need a Lego man too.
That's true.
I can put that picture up.
Good.
Okay, and these are all patterns on Ravelry too. So if you want to get creative, just think of the weirdest thing you can think of, and I'm sure you'll find a pattern on Ravelry.
Yeah, and also I think, at least I know all of mine, I think, are on my Ravelry page.
Yeah.
I would say most of yours.
Most of them.
Most of them are. But yeah, so in the thread, if you've knit more than one strange thing, if you have pictures, please show us. Because it's awesome.
There's some pretty funny ones. I can't remember anything offhand right now, but I've been reading through them, and I don't want to reply though, because then that'll throw off the numbers for the whatever number generator. Yeah. But oh my gosh, I've been killing myself reading some of them. They're so funny.
And also thinking of giveaways, I've heard from 2 of the 3 people for the Canada Cowl.
Oh yeah.
So if you're the last person, well actually, if you entered the Canada Cowl, go back and watch this episode. Towards the end of the episode, we talked about who wins the Canada Cowl.
Did we tag them in the Ravelry thread?
No, because I wanted them to contact me.
Oh.
She doesn't contact me by the time this gets up. I'll send her a Rav message, but it's more fun to find out that you won on the podcast.
That's true.
Sometimes people ruin it via Instagram. People.
You know who you are.
Saying you. But yeah, so I think that's all we have for this not so spooky but very warm edition.
Yes.
Of Wet Coast Wools. I hope all of my weird editing was okay with you. I just mainly wanted to use all these fonts and things. Please don't be mad. Okay. We will see you in
a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, yeah. Okay.
Have a great Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.